The internet is full of dogs. Mostly, they make us smile.
Come boy. Chop no.
And bring us joy.
If you're happy and you know it, do a spin.
But they can also break our hearts. Content creators are filming dogs in distress and pleading for money.
Please, you need your help.
The appeals work. Donations from all over the world pour in. But the money doesn't always end up what the donors expect. A single town in Uganda has become the epicenter of a global scam. And it is dogs like this that are paying the price.
Every day, I am sent more and more images of him in harrowing conditions.
I love you. You will be okay.
It doesn't represent anything like medical care apart from the fact that they are putting on gloves.
But dog lovers around the world are teaming up to fight back against the scammers.
We are trying to do so much every day.
It has to be stopped.
Africa Eye investigates how our love for dogs is being used to turn cruelty into profit. To outsiders, this is a typical bustling African town, 2 hours from Uganda's capital, Kampala. But Mityana's residents know this town has a secret. For some young people, social media scamming has become a way of life. Locals have a name for the scammers: psychers.
There are so many psychers here in Mityana. There are few opportunities in Mityana, so some of these young people who are joining scams, they see how you become wealthy when you're still young.
Young people, instead of going out to work, now people send pictures of dogs to get money from outside this country.
The psychers have found a new hustle: filming dogs in distress, posting them online, and coaxing money from unwitting dog lovers around the world.
Nasanga onabikuba ebifaananyi oba nazikuŋŋaanya nasindika ebifaananyi abazungulira mu sente.
Psychers are the most respected here in Mityana.
Ebira muno Mityana basikirizibwa okwegatta ku basayika. Era ojja sanga nti oli wakikola n'afuna ssente, abavubuka bonna bamulaba ne bagamba gundi yaguze emmotoka, bajja kukola ki? Nabo bajja tandika okutambulira mu eryo ekkubo.
The data confirms it. Africa Eye reviewed hundreds of online pages raising money for pet shelters in Uganda. Almost 40% of them were based in Mityana. Between them, they've managed to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars from dog lovers worldwide. But what really goes on inside these so-called shelters, and what happens to the dogs? In this community, few are willing to speak out. So we decided to send an undercover team into Mityana to find out more.
My colleague and I posed as young people who had just arrived in Mityana and wanted to enter the business of online dog shelter content. We learned that some so-called shelters operate like a rental business. The owner allows multiple content creators to film at the shelter in exchange for a fee. Content creators then take turns to film with the owner's dogs and raise their own donations. We got a phone number for one of the most active shelter owners. He is known as Charles Lubaja.
It's me, Charles, again.
I'm calling upon your support.
See our dogs are hungry. Please, you need your help.
We were amazed at how welcoming Charles was. He showed us around his shelter and let us film his dogs for an entry fee equivalent to $8. We clearly were not the first. Inside the shelter, there was a small cage where the dogs were being kept. On entering the cage, a strong smell attacked me and it really smelled bad. The cage was full of dog waste. The dogs piled on top of each other to avoid sleeping on their wastes. When I started filming the dogs one by one, I really felt sad for them. The dogs were in a bad condition. My colleague stayed outside. Charles was surprisingly open about how the business works.
Namugamba landlord yatuwadde omwezi gutya
nga mwansonga
ngabagamba tukolera gofandi awo kuzimba kugula wammwe ogenda kola ki osina shelter ebadde iyo kati just gofandi olujjira sente ero ogenda kugulako mmotoka oba zimbako nnyumba yo ng'ojja shelter ero dderi ebadde iyo nga just ogiddaabirizamu buddaabirizaye omulaga wakoze eki.
Charles told us that you can lie to the donors about the cost of food.
Kati ojja agenda kujja kwa donusu 5 bya wiiki. Kati ogamba osofunako emirundi 15 n'emiti 15 mingi. Osofunako emmere
oba okikubye
tobona ofunye.
During our visit, Charles shared other tactics that the scammers used to trick donors.
Emisozi gikuba mu byoya bwoti n'olagamba ogikoze ki ng'ogijjanja n'olaga n'eddagala ennyini n'eragamba ogikoze ki kumba okubye mu byoya muli era bano tubikola.
Charles made it clear he didn't need to work hard for the money.
Oluusi waliwo n'abazungu n'abeera ng'alaba vidiyo zo ng'akolaba buli kimu naye omusomesa gye tagiddamu kuba tubabeerawo bangi basinga n'okulonate. Ate omuzungu era olumufunya wakimanya akuwa ssente olina muyisanga muganda oba mutoowo era oba olina ezzimu olina omukola ate olina mukamula.
What made us laugh? Charles was so open to us.
Mulage ekintu tukola ki tomulimba naye ng'ozimugjamu agenda okugoba
nga weewaawo
nga olede bwobanga yeegoba nadda.
But not everyone has fallen for this scam. Charles warned us about one group in particular.
I want to be scammed, right? I want to be scammed. You know what's happening on TikTok?
TikTok.
Wonna. Kasitaba baleetanga olina omubulookinga. Boba bakikwata musindikira message. Namugamba oli muki. Wena gibulookingirawo kati ate nakutegeera. So si wali nyabaza kola ki. Bona baba bakola. Baba banoonya. Ate banoonya nnyo account empya ziba zakatandikawo. Ekyo kyekizibu kye tulina wano teri kizirikira. Kinange nze uno wendi wano si yenze wano.
Charles was worried about an online network called We Won't Be Scammed. They had been identifying scammers' accounts, and they had found his.
Please help me. My dogs are going to die. No one will care for them.
We Won't Be Scammed are an international coalition of activists, many of them former victims themselves. For the past 2 years, they've been exposing scam accounts, naming and shaming the worst offenders. But their methods have stirred controversy within the online animal welfare community. The identity of their founder has been shrouded in mystery, until now.
I am Nicola, and I am the face behind We Won't Be Scammed. My phone is just absolutely rammed. It's just rammed with Ugandan scammers. And your sister and your brother, lots of multiple fingers up. I was getting a lot of threats, death threats, sexual threats. As time's gone on, I feel less scared. It was just after COVID. I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw an account in Uganda, and it was just a man saying that he was helping dogs. And I tried to help. I felt really sorry for him. I paid for a vet. I got sent this operation and I shared it with my veterinary colleagues who went, no, that's not a vet, that's abuse. That's when I just thought, oh my goodness, I've enabled this abuse, this has got to stop. The first dog I saw actually looked like Sebi here. And that's when it became a real passion to stop the abuse, because I felt like they were abusing Sebi, they're abusing part of my family. So I started the page and it very quickly grew. Now, there's 20 of us. Hi, ladies. What's the plan of attack for the coming week?
There's too much to do every day. I found so many scammers, and we have that problem.
Yeah.
We have to fight against enablers who continue to donate or open GoFundMe or PayPal for them.
It has to be stopped.
Mityana's shelters have even drawn dog lovers from around the world. Joanne is a British woman who set up a shelter with a local partner.
I just sent a little bit of money for food, and then he would do a video and show me that he's bought the food, feed the dogs, and that's how we built the rapport up between us. This is my third time back in Uganda in 9 months. I was very concerned about the conditions the animals were kept in, and I decided to come here, and I just feel like this is my journey. Hello, baby. So we do the best we can with limited resources. And this is the kennels where the dogs are kept. So we try and keep them separated, try to make them as comfortable as we can. I don't think I'm actually making a problem by contributing my funds. What I will say is I'm helping dogs survive. I think I've done a good thing by trying to save as many as I can. The problem is, if you close down all the shelters, where is all the dogs going to go?
Is this shelter used by any other content production?
Yeah, nobody else uses this shelter. I make sure of that as well.
After we spoke with Joanne, we found out that at least one content creator has regularly been filming at the shelter, pretending he is the owner and using the videos on his own social media for his own appeals, soliciting funds from donors. We showed the clips to Joanne. She told us, Mityana might seem like an unlikely scamming hotspot. But a growing town, high youth unemployment, and social media have proven to be the right mix for the dog scam industry to flourish. Many locals resent the scammers and the bad reputation they have given the town.
Ebisikizibwa bingi mu myaka gyange okuyingira obusayika. Focus nze kyendiko njagala kusigala nga ntambuza family business. Abamu naddala abavubuka wagiraba abaala aba ssente. Nze nga nze laavu yange ery'ebisolo byange. Bwe ndabanga ekisonga ekyo ekijja ekitambula awo nga nze akirabirira, ndaba nga nze alina obuvunaanyizibwa. Kiba kinsanyusa. Sente newankubadde nzaagala ne bye balina sijja kulimba era mbyagala mba mbifunye. Byanneema sijja kulimba. Byanneema sibiteekangako nnyo budde.
The campaigners behind We Won't Be Scammed believe the situation in Mityana's so-called shelters is getting worse.
When I first started noticing the abuse in Uganda, it seems to follow a pattern. There's always a run of a certain type of injury, and they will always select the most gentle dog, and then you'll see that same dog just deteriorate.
One of these dogs was Russet. His injuries were unmistakable. His videos appeared across more than a dozen fundraising accounts in January 2025.
Please consider donating today to save a life.
Please, we still need more help.
I've seen Russet with so many men like this, and they must have just lined up to film with him. And it clearly had worked for the scammers. He was clearly very profitable, because throughout 2025, we saw numerous dogs with exactly the same injury. All that pain is just for a few donations. No animal should have to live like this.
Nicola and her group suspect that what is happening to dogs like Russet is no accident, and that some dogs are being deliberately harmed just to raise funds. But there is no conclusive evidence of this, only rumors. Our team went back to Charles's so-called shelter to see if we could find out more.
We asked Charles for advice on posting videos of injured dogs on our social media.
Eyo naga ndogiteka okalola galagezesa oyagisindikira muntu mu inbox ye bowulira kyakuddamu awo ojja okufunira amagezi akakola ki agiposting ojofunira amagezi akagiteka.
Then Charles said something I could not believe.
Azalwanje nekati abana katyali benshi wali embwa zalwalanga zokka buli n'agitemaye kati n'abaana nabo nabo nga bazisala n'ozisala kitegeera n'abazungu ne babuuka
batukesera nga be bazisala
nga be bazisala kati nti banoonya kontenti naggwayo n'agyesalira n'asaba ssente.
What Charles was telling us was difficult to hear. He said that scammers had gone beyond neglect, intentionally harming dogs for content. But donors, he said, had started to see through it. The scammers' own escalation had backfired. But had the harm already stopped or gone more underground? Earlier during our visit, another content creator filming at the shelter asked Charles about an injured dog. Bagitema akagulu.
Nagirako magira bange eri consulate na nyo
gamba kana akatono je kali consulate.
Naye oli boyigwe mbwanga tazinga zidumya anga zidumya.
From what Charles told us, the injured dog was in another so-called shelter in Mityana.
The fear that dogs were being deliberately harmed led activists to take increasingly drastic steps, including a series of unofficial rescue missions.
I paid, over the years, a lot of money. I would say the first rescues, tens of thousands of pounds of my own money. So it's great now to have the support of other people helping me rescue more dogs, and that's why we've got 50 more dogs out of these horrendous shelters. It's really difficult in Uganda to rescue animals from these scammers. We work with our partners in Uganda who work undercover. Some of them pretend to be scammers, some of them literally just hide out to watch the shelters. When the scammers are away, and they all go away for these trips, we will then just take the dogs.
Can you clarify what you mean by taking the dogs?
It would be watching the shelter and stealing them from the scammer.
There have been allegations that We Won't Be Scammed has paid to release these dogs from the scammers.
No, we never pay them, and because that would be enabling abuse, and that's something I personally would never agree with.
Is anyone doing that on your behalf?
No, definitely not. I think people have to understand that this isn't normal rescue. We are effectively dealing with the Ugandan mafia to get animals safe.
The case of Russet, the badly injured dog we saw earlier, brought global attention to Uganda's scam shelters back in January 2025. Multiple scammers used him to solicit money. But who owned him or may have been responsible for his injuries has always been a mystery.
I decided to show Charles the videos of Russet. I wanted to see his reaction. Waliwo neeri. Kati ekyo kibeera ky'abantu. Embwa ye
tulaba kati wange wali maaso n'oluuki.
Soko nene hane.
Waliwo agijje kugundiya.
Nzinadenda
olugye kuyamba togiraba.
Kati embwa yali abakisitayi. We never expected Charles to say he had been Russet's owner. He seemed like he did not want to talk more about Russet. So when the embwa yali abaki?
Yep. See.
So when embwa basoze exporting and bazirya.
Bantu kati soji musindikirabo tunalaba nga tujja sobola gijjanja. Abana akugamba kagino nagikoleki. Nagikola gijjanja.
And he also looked uncomfortable. Nojisanga nojironda.
Yali yawanira. Ate laba agitomerera awo mwezi ekkobe. Tanga biseera tebanda dikola kwali ebiseera byali bbiye. Wagijjeeyo bye.
Nagijeeyo ba Jo. Wakosa Jo.
Nzijukira nazidiritinga zonna nezimala. Mera mbere sisubira mu mwe.
Abadde nkebera ku gundi.
Questions about Russet appeared to have hit a nerve with Charles. We decided to investigate further. Three weeks after Russet first appeared online, a donor from the UK managed to negotiate his release from the people still filming him. He was taken to a veterinary clinic in Kampala.
It's okay.
Veterinary surgeon Dr. Isa Lutebemberwa went to pick up Russet from a location in Mityana where he was being held.
There were around 7 boys, all of them in the ages of around 28 years and below. They had brought out Russet and put him there. So I put him in the crate, then moved him to the clinic. I had made an assessment. The chances of this being an accident are low, because if you look at these bones, all of them were broken almost in the same positions. If you are interested in breaking a bone, is the position you would go for, because it is the weakest. If you looked in his face, you would see that he had endured a lot of suffering and a lot of pain. He somehow had increased his threshold towards pain. Like a person who has been through a lot of suffering and has given up. It was very sad to watch.
Dr. Lutebe Mberwa and his team operated on Russet. The surgery was complex. They were hopeful. But just a couple of days after the operation, Russet died.
To this day, I still wonder why he died after the surgery. Given everything he had gone through, he did not deserve to die. He had a bright life ahead of him. He even had a person who was willing to foster him. Russet showed me the pain a dog which is out there can go through. It really shaped everything that I do right now. These dogs which have no one to speak for them, the voiceless animals out there, they need someone who can advocate for them.
Russet could not be saved, but his story united people in Uganda and beyond. In Mityana, many residents also care about dogs like Russet, who may be suffering in the so-called shelters.
Ebisolo bye basikambingirako tebyogera tebigenda kwekubira mulanga nti nje mutuyambe ati wotavaayo kwogera abamu basirika abamu abantu abasinga bawulira ennaku ku mutima naye tebavaayo kwogera. Ebisolo singa abatuuze bo nga bo bavaayo ne bagamba ebisolo ebituuka okulaba ebisolo nga bibonaabona oba nga tebiwa mmere oba ki awo n'abakulembeze bafuna sapoti okuva eno wansi mu bantu ne balyoka bakola ku nsonga ezo.